It's Friday then, it's Saturday, Sunday. It's Friday again, it's Friday, Sunday. It's Friday again.
Are you ready?
Helping people who are living and working in Spain. It's The Right Way with David Wright.
A very good afternoon and welcome to The Right Way with me, David Wright. Well, it's Friday. It's almost the weekend. What are you up to this weekend? Looks like the weather's going to be good. It's going to be a nice Saturday and Sunday. Warm and sunny here in Almeria. Around 30 degrees, I reckon, on Sunday. So not bad at all. So come and join us. The comment section has rebooted now. So come and keep me company for the next hour. Thank you very much, John, for looking after us this afternoon. Some great music there. And I'm going to be telling you loads of new information, tips and advice on living and working in Spain. Got some good news for drivers, and that's all coming up a bit after John on the brain today. George Thorogood.
The comment section is open. Chat live to the DJ right now via our website.
And here he is, the legendary David Wright.
Yes, so joining us in the comment section, we've got Guy, Rita, John Olos G, and Rob and Donna. Hi to you guys. Thanks very much for joining us this afternoon. And got some good news today, and good news for drivers, by the way. Yeah, drivers in Spain. Now, last month or so, I told you about the rules that Spain are thinking about making all motorways in Spain toll roads. Yeah, they did have an idea of making all motorways toll roads. Well, they've scrapped that idea after talking to the European Commission. I've had some talks about it, and that idea has now been scrapped. That's a good one, isn't it? So yeah, no toll roads. Well, there's still some toll roads in Spain, but they're not going to make all toll roads next year. That's a good news. Now, I was up in Murcia a little while ago, driving up there, and there is a toll road there. I think it was about €8, and I did pay to go on it. We was in a bit of a hurry. Thought I'd give it a go. €8 it cost to get on there, and we drove for about an hour and didn't see a single car all out there. So yeah, is it expensive to do that? Is it safer to do that? What do you think? Let us know in the comment section. Guy, this one's for you. Pour some sugar on the Def Leppard there, and that one's for you, Guy. Thanks for joining us in the comment section. Okay, so the gas bottles now. Do you use the Butano gas bottles here in Spain? Well, some good news for you on this one as well. €14. The price is set at 14, 14.20, 14.30. That is it. It won't go above that price now for the next year or so. So the government had been putting these prices up each week, and each month more like. It's been creeping up, but now they've set the price. It's going to be set now for some time. That's 26% less than it was last year. So €14 if you use the gas balls. It is quite an economic way of using heating for barbecues and things like that. For cooking, I use one in my gas barbecue and on my grill, and they last forever. They seem to last forever. So yeah, that has been set now, the price at €14. You shouldn't pay more than that. 14.20 I think it is now. So that's been set for next year. So that's another bit of good news for people living and working in Spain. So time for a Spanish one now. Corazon Latino by David Bisbal there, born and bred here in Almeria. Okay, so have you been noticing the prices are starting to creep up a bit here in Spain, aren't they? When you go out shopping, you don't quite get as much for your money. Well, there's a new report out that says that some of the cheapest supermarkets now are El Campo, Mercadona and Carrefour. And Corte Inglés has just sold 47 of its stores to Carrefour. So Carrefour will be taking over the food market here in Spain, but I look at it, 47 stores. So that's going to be more food. And there's also Carrefour are doing gift cards and discount cards, 3 different types of discount cards now to try and attract new customers into their stores. So what do you think? Who's the best one? We go to Mercadona, it's quite near us, it's quite handy. But if you want cheaper food, good quality food, then your local market's the place to go. Now, a lot of people here in Spain, if you're living here in Spain, you've probably seen your local market. You've probably got one near you. Ours is at the airport every Sunday morning. We go there and we buy all our fruit and vegetable from there. It's all locally grown stuff. Helps local businesses here, and it's cheap as well. We pay €1 a kilo. Just mix and match. You just take a bag, fill it up, and they weigh it. It's €1 a kilo. Now there are some places a little bit more expensive than that. In Almeria City, it's about $1.20 a kilo, things like that. But you need to go to the smaller villages. Help support the local businesses there, and you get some great value by shopping at these places. This is where the Spanish people go, and this is where you need to go to get the best deals. Celine Dion, I'm Alive.
Live.
David Wright. David Wright.
David.
The Afternoon Show.
Almeria Radio 107.5 FM. You're listening to The Right Way with me, David Wright. Well, I was talking to some Spanish friends the other day about prices here. They've just bought a plot of land. They bought it about a year ago, actually, and they've just got some permission through to start building their own house here. Been asking me lots of questions as I built my house here about 4 years ago now. And I'm shocked, absolutely shocked at the costs of building here now. It's really gone through the roof. Today I was out, bought a trailer full of bricks. I bought about 100 bricks. These egg box type bricks. I'm going to be doing some work on my back patio today. I'm going to be doing a retaining wall at the back of the house, and yeah, the bricks have gone up almost double the price. Now it's centimos we're talking about, a few cents. I think it was 43 cents a brick. They was 20 cents 4 years ago, so it's double the price here in Spain. So yeah, friends are building a house here, and I'm quite shocked at some of the prices. I'll tell you all about that after this.
Your music, your requests.
Almeria Radio.
Thinking about building your own house in Spain? We've all had a dream of building a house, I'm sure. A lot of people have here in Spain, and some people have done it. Some people are thinking about it. Some people might be planning to do it in the future. Well, I'm going to be giving you some costs, some rundowns of some costs that may put you off a little bit because things are going up a lot in price here. So yeah, and also some building licenses and regulations, things like that. If you're doing work on your property here, there's two main licenses you need. That's the minor works license and the major works license. Now, if you're doing any work on your house at all here in Spain, that's anything at all, you do need to go to your local council offices and apply for a minor building works license. Now, this can be just a small percentage of the building works. Say you're building a brick wall, you need to pay the license to the council for that, and you might have to pay around 30-40 euros for a license, and it's ever so easy to get that, and you don't really need an inspection or anything like that. But if you're doing more structural work, if you're doing anything like moving doors and windows and building works, then you do need an engineer or structural engineer and an architect to draw up the plans, and then you will need a building license permission, and that is major building works license, and that can be quite a little bit more expensive. So to just give you an idea, friends of mine have bought this plot of land, and it's a 400 square meter plot of land. So it's not a very big plot at all, and they're building a 200 square meter house on there. Now their house is going to be one of these fabricated houses. They call them a wooden house, but they're more like a wooden structure, and then they've stuck this artificial what do you call it, cement on the outside. They spray it on, so it's a quick way of building houses here in Spain. It's quite unusual here. I've seen a few like that, but it's quite fast. They build the whole house in about 4 months, so from start to finish. Now this is just the plot of land. They've paid for the plot of land. That's one price you have to pay. Then you have to get architects' plans and permissions. You pay the tax on the land. So for example, if you're paying 100,000 for a plot of land here, you've got to pay about another 20,000 on top of that for taxes. That's just for the land. Then you need the building permissions. Now, on my plot of land, it was 800 square metres. The building permission alone was 18,000 euros. Yeah, the building permission, that's before you even start building. Then you need architect's fees. In my case, it was about 16,000 euros architect's fees. And then you need a structural engineer architect, and that's about 3,000. Then you've got things like plumbing and electricians cost and things like that. So the plumbers building a house here, if the house is around 200,000, you're looking at around 7 or 8, 10,000 for a plumber and electrician. So all these costs soon add up, and that is just to get yourself started. There is lots of connection charges, then you've got notary fees on top of that. So make sure if you're thinking about building here in Spain, you go into it as much as you can, do lots and lots of research, because whatever you think of, you know, you're bound to miss something out. I know I did. I've been in the building business here for 20 odd years, and I've been buying and selling property in Spain. I thought I knew everything, but I still underestimated by about 30 grand. So yeah, you can get prices wrong here, and it can be very expensive. Now costs have gone through the roof, literally. All building materials have gone up. To give you an idea, a sack of cement now is around 5 euros a sack. When I started just 4 years ago, it was half that. So yeah, double the price. Things are almost double the price. So if you were going to go and build your own plot on the plot of land here, make sure you have the proper permissions to do so. And also, if you're getting workers in, every single worker, even if you're doing work on your house, needs to be legally registered here in Spain. And this can be a big problem. If you don't check, you, the owner, are responsible for anybody that's working. So remember, if you're doing any work this weekend, you've got your mate John from down the pub to come and give you a hand, put some plasterboard up or painting and decorating. If he falls off the ladder, you, the homeowner, are responsible for all his medical bills for life if you don't check. So you need to check his documents, make sure he is legal and registered here before you do any building works in Spain. More about that a little bit later on. So it's time for Artist of the Week now.
The Artist of the Week. Helping people who are living and working in Spain. It's The Right Way with David Wright.
That was Artist of the Week, T-Rex there. Okay, so yeah, talking about building works in Spain. Now, yeah, people don't realise this, that, you know, there is some very strict rules and people say, oh, it doesn't matter, I live out in the middle of nowhere, no one's going to find me. They do find you, they do know. And if anybody complains about the work, the noise, or the dust, anything like that, you can be in a lot of trouble. So please don't take the chance here in Spain. Spain is not as backward as it used to be years ago. When I first came here, they didn't need any licensing, things like that. Well, maybe you did, but people just didn't do it. Now things have got very difficult. And I always say to people, if you're not sure, just go to the council offices and ask. They're very friendly in there, and you normally have to pay about 30, 40, 50 euros for a license if you're doing some work at home. It's a peace of mind. If anyone complains, you can just wave that bit of paper in their face and they've got nothing to do. They can't do anything about it. So yeah, that's a good way of doing it. Then remember also, if you have anybody working, the way you check, you ask to see their social security. They got a form where they're paying their social security payments. They can get this, they can download it and print it out, show you that paying their social security here. If they are paying that, then that's okay. You can have them work for you there, or see their self-employed paperwork, credentials, but it is down to you. Now, when I was building my house here, we did have a couple of checks. They came round, and you can be fined 20,000 euros for each illegal worker working on your property. So I don't want to frighten you guys, but it is getting difficult here in Spain. And I found it very difficult to find legal workers that weren't, charging too much money. Loads of people will work for cash backhand and things like that. We've all done it here. We've all done it in the past. But now those days are gone. You need to be very, very careful if you're doing any work here in Spain. And something I always say to people is, if you are thinking about buying a property or a plot of land, whether it's an old building, new building, or you're just moving on, or a completely brand new plot of land, go to the planning registry office at your local council planning office. It is completely free, and ask them about that plot of land, ask them about that house you're building, apartment. Everything in Spain, every property, land has a plot number, and you can get this plot number from the deeds of the property, from the escritura, or if you can't get hold of the escritura, you can get it from the owner or the estate agent. They have to give you that number by law. Now, with that number, you can go to the planning registry officer. You can ask him about that property. He will tell you everything about that property, including whether it has got a mortgage on it as well. So you can see if they owe money on the property, if the mortgage needs to be paid off, who's that mortgage with. You can find out a lot of details, and this is free for anybody, any member of the public to do. All you need is that plot number. Sometimes you can do it with just the address. Now, this is a very handy piece of information, because I've bought several properties here, and a couple of them I've pulled out just because of what I've found out from the planning office. Now, not all estate agents are trying to rob you, but some people do try and pull the wool over your eyes, and things aren't always as they seem. And there's a lot of things that have been put onto properties here, extra building, things like that shouldn't be, and it's not easy to get it changed at the notary. So make sure you do your own homework first. Solicitors don't always do this. They can do it if you insist and ask, but you're best to go and do it yourself. If you don't speak Spanish, take somebody with you, the planning registry officer, and go and double check before you buy.
Live.
David Wright.
David.
The Afternoon Show.
So yeah, Guy in the comment section has asked us about the ETIAS system. That's the travel card in and out of Europe. Guy, I can't go into details in this show, but I did do a blog post about it and a podcast show. You can get that, all the information on that, over on the Almeria Radio website. Just click on the drop down menu there. I go over to my page. That's The Right Way with me, David Wright, and there's links there to all the information I give out on all these shows, and you can get all the information on my website there. That's davidwrightonline.com. davidwrightonline.com. livingainspain.com. Loads of information, tips and advice on living and working in Spain.
Who are living and working in Spain. It's The Right Way with David Wright.
Yes, a guy asks about registered builders here and can you get fined? Yes, you can. You will get fined. And about 4 years ago, just before that, when I first started building my house here, I was told about these rules and regulations that changed and very, very strict. It is down to you. People say, oh, well, I didn't know. It's not up to me. Well, it is up to you. If you're paying somebody, then it is up to you to check their paperwork and it is up to you to pay the fines if they're caught doing work on your property without the proper paperwork here. Now, there is a slim chance if you're living in the middle of nowhere, if somebody's doing a few days work, but it only takes one little accident or one neighbour to report you or somebody, has seen them coming and going. Now, a little while ago, a friend of mine was doing some building work and they hired a skip to take away all the rubbish. Now, these skips that you rent out, about €100 to come and take all the rubbish away, that skip is registered. And when you pay for that, you have to give your name and address. And this name and address goes to the building works people, and the planning people send somebody round. And I was talking to a guy in the planning office a couple of months ago, and he said they've even got drones now that they send out, and they've got Google Earth that they check and where these skips are, and they can look down and see what sort of work's going on, whether they can send somebody out to inspect the property or not. So yeah, all this technology now, they do find you, they will know. And years ago, this was before these regulations came in. I was doing some work up in Tabernas at the back of Mini Hollywood up there. Some of you know where that is. It's in the middle of the desert. We were building a house up there for an English family. And one day we were putting a roof on a stables for a horse that the guy had built. And two coppers come over the hill on horseback, believe it or not, and they came over and they've been looking at us with binoculars from a distance, and they wanted to see the building license for the shed that we'd put up for these horses, this stable. We didn't have one, and they demanded that we took it down there and then. So yeah, that was back then. That was a long time ago. Just imagine the technology they got now. Spain is moving fast with technology, so don't take the chances. It's not worth it. If you get fined, it's not just a fine. Any building works you've done, you will have to take it down and put back as was, and be made to pay the fine as well. So it's really not worth it. And sometimes paying the license is a lot cheaper and easiest route to go. La lluvia en los zapatos, the rain in the shoes, I think that is. Okay, so you're listening to The Right Way with me, David Wright, Almeria Radio 107.5 FM. Up in about 4 minutes' time, the 5 o'clock hit mix with Rob Mack. Loads of the latest releases, so listening to that. And guy asked about plumbers in Spain, about doing the gas. Now, not all plumbers here are gas registered. They have to take a course, and my plumber was telling me it's about €350 this course to get gas registered here. So make sure they have got a proper gas certificate for that. It's like being Corgi registered in the UK, I guess. And without that, they can't officially do any work on your gas boiler. There are some very strict rules on ventilation now for the pipe that goes out of the house. If you've got gas, it needs to be 1.5 meters sticking out of the wall. And there also has to be ventilation underneath the units in the kitchen, things like that, if you have got gas appliances now. So there are some very strict rules and regulations for gas here in Spain. Make sure the guy that's doing yours is up next. 5 o'clock hit mix with Rob Mack. Thanks for listening and see you next week.
That's all, folks.